We are in an Engenius wireless access point. This is the EAP 300, but it doesn't really matter what version. We'll just go ahead and set up the wireless security that comes with the Engenius. And what we're going to do is go under wireless and choose wireless network. Although yours might say something a little bit different, but that's what this says in this particular version. So what we want to do is first choose the wireless mode. So you see at the top here we have B, G, and N mixed mode. Now B is not really used all that much anymore, so G and N is good. You might even see AC on yours as well. The problem with using mixed mode is it does tend to make it not quite as effective, not as fast. So any mixed mode is not going to be as good as just using one particular mode. But if you have older devices, you might be kind of stuck with the G or the B. In that particular case, you can go ahead and choose the mixed and it'll work with all of them. Otherwise, just choose the one that you need. From here, the channel HT mode, you have 20 to 40 megahertz, you have 40, or you have 20. Just choose the 20/40 so that way it can use both of them. If you start having a lot of problems, you can try playing with that and choosing one over the other. I also recommend you leaving the channels to auto, but if you decide you want to set a specific channel, then just uncheck auto and choose either the upper or lower channel, and then choose whichever channel it is that you would like. Now, there's only three channels, 1, 6, and 11, in the G and the N area. The other channels sort of overlap each other. So if you're going to do a channel frequency, then choose either 1, 6, or 11 and scan for other networks in the area before you do that. You can also click on scan to have it detect other ones if you'd like. I'm going to leave it set to auto. I think it's the best way to go. So as you see, we already have one of the SSIDs set up. Let's go ahead and set up a second one and click on edit. And we can call this whatever you want. Now the SSID is what shows up when you scan for networks from your smartphone or your laptop, whatever it is. And we'll just call this one test just for fun. And we'll leave it as VLAN ID 2 because our first one is going to be VLAN ID 1. You can have as many of these as you want. Now if you choose the suppressed SSID, then basically you're going to have to know what the SSID name is from your smartphone or whatever device because you will not be able to scan for it. So this is an extra security measure, which is a good idea. You can also set up station separation, so that way you will not be able to ping or connect from one device to another device. It'll just disallow that. If you want to be able to connect from, say, one laptop to another wirelessly, then you'll leave it disabled. If you want to keep that from happening, click on Enable. Next thing is the security mode. Now by default it says disable, but that's not secure. That means they could get in anonymously with no username or password. The best way to go right now is to choose the WPA2. That is the most secure. So encryption, you can go TKIP or AES. TKIP is a backwards compatibility. I don't recommend that. You want to choose AES. If you have a radius server, put that IP address in at this point as well. Otherwise, you can go ahead and put in the WPA2 PSK, which is the pre-shared key. So WPA2 PSK with AES, and you put in your passphrase, and make sure it's random letters and numbers. Don't try to put something that spells anything. After the passphrase, you can check how often it's going to update, and 3600 is the default. It's more secure to lower this number, but if you're in an area where you don't have to worry that much about security, then you can keep it at 3600, which is the maximum amount. This basically is how often the keys exchange. So if anybody hacks into you, this is how often it will exchange, so that way they cannot keep that session going unless they re-enter the password. But the problem with changing that number to a lower amount is it generates a lot more traffic and could slow you down. When you're done, just go ahead and click Save. And if you want to enable that particular network, then you just click the Enable. And then when you're done, you click Accept. and then you go to save and reload and click accept again, and then it'll restart. And once it restarts, then you'll have this SSID ready to use and ready to hand out IP addresses if you have a DHCP server online. And we did a previous video on that if you'd like to know about how to turn on and enable the DHCP server. So that's how you set up the wireless security on an Engenius wireless access point.